What is a dental crown? A crown is when you have a tooth and you want to make sure that it doesn't break, you trim around the tooth, you trim the top of it, and you put something over top of it. So, layman terms, you'll hear caps all the time. Caps the same thing as a crown. When do you need a crown? Normally, you would get a crown if a tooth is heavily restored. So, a good chunk of that tooth is broken and you're building it up and you don't want it to break further, so you put a crown on it. The analogy I normally give is, let's say you have a chair in your kitchen and you have a leg that breaks off, and your grandmother gave you that chair, so you don't want to throw it away. You take some hammer and some nails, you put that chair back together. You could do an amazing job at that repair, but if someone heavier sits on it, if a kid jumps on it, if someone sits on it at the wrong angle, that chair is going to break again. When you have a large filling on a tooth, it doesn't matter how good the repair job was. If you bite on something hard, you bite at the wrong angle, a corner of that tooth is more likely to break. It could be half the tooth, it could be a corner of the tooth. If it's a small chip, we can still build that tooth up with a filling. However, we can't predict how things are going to break. If it breaks below the gum line, we can no longer restore that tooth and that tooth needs to come out. But because we cannot predict how things are going to happen, we don't want to be in a situation where you're coming in, now it's broken, and I'm telling you, hey, we got to take it out. So because we can't control that, we normally recommend a crown for a tooth that's heavily restored. So you trim around it, you put something over top so that nothing can break off. Another reason why you do a crown is if a tooth is root canal treated, the tooth has become hollow, more brittle, more likely to break. Again, you put a crown on it. If someone is a heavy clencher, a heavy grinder, they've worn down the whole surface of the tooth, and now you need to rebuild that tooth, a filling will not be predictable, and that's why you do a crown on it. So there are several reasons why a crown would be warranted versus a filling. Usually the reason for doing a crown is just to prolong the life of the tooth.